What is going on, everybody? TJ here with Daily Grind Fantasy Sports, and in today's video, you guys, we're going to be building out a 6-flex slip over on PrizePicks for tonight's Monday Night Football game between the Vikings and the Bears. To build out this slip today, we're going to be using the correlation tool here at DGF. And guys, my first overall play is going to be Justin Fields over 194.5 passing yards. We're going to jump into the rest of our slip and also talk about the correlation strategy and why you should be playing these types of slips over on fixed payout platforms like PrizePicks and not sportsbooks like FanDuel or DraftKings same game parlays. So let's go ahead and dive right in. So the first thing that we need to understand when it comes to building out slips on a fixed payout platform like PrizePicks is it doesn't matter if we take the over or the under on specific players' projections, our payout will always remain the same. Sure, there are some instances where that might not be the case, but in 95 to 99% of slips that you're creating on a fixed payout platform like PrizePicks, your payout will always remain the same. So right here in a two-man power, it doesn't matter if I take more or less on one none. I don't know why I took this guy as my example. I can't even pronounce his name. We're gonna call him DJ. It doesn't matter if I take more or less on DJ, my payout will always be 3 times. It doesn't matter if I take more or less on Justin Fields, my payout will always remain the same. It's always going to be a 3 times payout for a two-man power over on PrizePicks. Now, when it comes to entering this type of slip over on a sportsbook like FanDuel or DraftKings or any other sportsbook that offers you a same-game parlay, the actual American odd is attached to that over and under. So it does depend. If you take the over or the under on a specific player's projection, unless it's an actual even line, minus 110 on each side, your payout is going to alter. So if Justin Fields is on the sports books at minus 130 to go over 194.5 passing yards, but then he has plus 100 juice on the under, that means books are saying it's more likely that Justin Fields is going to go over. So you're going to get less of a return if you take the over opposed to if you took the under. Now here on PrizePicks and other fixed payout platforms, we don't have to worry about that. We know that it doesn't matter if we take more or less on specific players, our payout will always remain the same. Now that is where things like positive correlation come into play. Now correlating as a whole, what does that mean? All it means at its core is just plays that are more likely to occur together. So if I'm going to take Justin Fields over 194.5 passing yards, what does that mean in the grand scheme of things? That means guys like Darnell Mooney, DJ Moore, they're going to have more opportunities to get receiving yards. So if I'm taking Justin Fields over passing yards, that means I more than likely, or I do, want to go ahead and take the over on DJ Moore receiving yards, the over on Darnell Mooney receiving yards. I wouldn't want to turn around and take Justin Fields over pass yards and then play Darnell Mooney and DJ Moore under receiving yards. That doesn't make any sense. That's negative correlation. Positive correlation is stacking things in specific games that are more likely to occur together. And the reason we want to be doing this over on fixed payout platforms like PrizePicks is because they don't alter our payout. We can get away with positive correlation in most cases, especially NFL. So if we have the ability to positively correlate slips over on a fixed payout platform, I'm going to go through and show you why you should be doing so on PrizePicks or Underdog or another fixed payout platform opposed to a sportsbook. Now, before we jump into that, I do want to show you guys the correlation tool here at DGF. Guys, we're at 521 units so far since publicly tracking slips on 8/18. Been a little bit of a rough patch here over this last week, but that's okay. We are long-term profits. That's what we're looking for. Profitable slips to get us profitable in the long run. $5 bettors, if you're betting $5 on every slip recommended to our correlation tool, you'd be up over $2,600. That's not bad on a $5 investment for each slip. So the whole purpose of our correlation tool is to show users the most correlated slips for specific games on specific DFS apps. Our software finds slips that are not only correlated, but also where you're getting the best underlying price for a specific individual player prop. The correlation tool also saves our users a significant amount of time. Instead of having to manually piece together all individual combos based off the individual player props that are on a specific DFS platform at that specific time, we do all of that for you on the back end to compute the highest percent odds to hit based on those available props. All right, guys, but enough of that. Let's go ahead, jump in, and show the rest of our 6-flex PrizePicks slip for the Bears and Vikings game tonight. Obviously, we already have Justin Fields over 194.5 passing yards, and this is going to be the rest of our slip. We got Darnell Mooney over 26.5 receiving yards. We got Trenton Gill under 4 punts. We have Brandon Powell over 22.5 receiving yards, Joshua Dobbs over 231.5 passing yards, and last but not least, Ryan Wright under 3.5 punts. Now, this isn't always the case with the correlation tool, but in this specific game script, what we're going to be looking for here on PrizePicks between the Bears and the Vikings is a lot of offense. Now, we talked about positive correlation earlier when I gave my example, but we have Justin Fields over passing yards. So obviously, if Justin Fields is going to eclipse that 195 mark, that means Darnell Mooney, DJ Moore, etc., some of those other receivers are going to have more of an opportunity to go over their receiving yards line. So that's why we're seeing here Justin Fields over passing yards attached with Darnell Mooney over receiving yards. Now, if the Bears offense is doing well and able to move the ball up and down the field, that means that Trenton Gill isn't going to they're going to have no need to punt. So if we're taking two offensive player overs, coming back and taking a punter under is positively correlated. Same thing on the flip side. We got Joshua Dobbs over 231.5 passing yards. If Joshua Dobbs is going to go out and throw for a lot of yards, that means Jordan Addison, TJ Hawkinson, Brandon Powell, etc. are going to have more of an opportunity to clear their receiving yards line. So here we have Dobbs over passing yards. We wouldn't want to take Brandon Powell under 22.5 receiving yards. That would be negatively correlated. So if Dobbs is going to go out and eclipse that 231.5 passing yards, that means that Brandon Powell is going to have more of an opportunity to clear his over 22.5 receiving yards line. Plus, that's really low. That's essentially 1-2 catches maybe. So we're taking Joshua Dobbs over passing yards, Brandon Powell over receiving yards, and then again, on the flip side, if the Vikings are able to go up and down the field against that Bears defense, that means Ryan Wright, less of a need for him to come out and punt the football. So now what I've done here is added all 6 of these plays into a parlay over on PrizePicks, and as we can see, guys, we go 6 for 6, we're going to get a 25 times return. If we go 5 for 6, we get a 2 times return. And if we go 4 for 6, we get a 0.4 times return. Now, I want to show you what this payout is going to look like if we played a same game parlay over on FanDuel. So when it comes to physically entering this type of slip over on FanDuel, unfortunately, they don't have punter props. So what I'm going to show you in this example, I'm going to remove Trenton Gill. I'm going to also remove Ryan Wright. I'm going to go ahead, go to receiving yards. I'm going to add in DJ Moore over receiving yards, and I'm going to add in TJ Hawkinson over receiving yards. So we have 2 wide receivers from both the Bears and the Vikings and both quarterback props all to go over. And as we can see, we're still getting that 25 times return if we go 6 for 6. 5 of 6, we get a 2 times return, and a 0.4 times return if we go 4 for 6. Now, if I head over to FanDuel and I enter those exact 6 plays, Dobbs and Fields both over passing yards, Darnell Mooney, Brandon Powell, TJ Hawkinson, DJ Moore over receiving yards. Now, they're not exact matches when it comes to PrizePicks and FanDuel, but the lines are close enough. We'll see here that our payout, we're getting 19.28 odds, plus 19.28. So that means if I put $100 on this same game parlay, I get a 19.28 return. If I go over to PrizePicks and I enter $100, I get a $2,500 return if I go 6 for 6. Now, on top of this, I also have insurance entering this on PrizePicks. So again, if I go 5 for 6, I get $200. If I go 4 for 6, I get a 0.4 times return. I get $40. Now over on FanDuel, if I go 5 for 6, I get $0. If I go 4 for 6, I get $0. I have to go 6 for 6 in the same game parlay over on FanDuel to get my return, and it's $570 less than what I would get if I enter this exact slip over on PrizePicks, because $100 is only going to get me $19.28. And now the reason we're seeing that type of return over on FanDuel is because they know we're trying to positively correlate. That's why we have to enter these plays in a same game parlay. They are altering our payout. Unlike PrizePicks, we can get away with fully positive correlated game slips and we still get our full return. So guys, it's an absolute no-brainer. If you are entering correlated slips, if you're trying to positively correlate slips and you're entering them over on a sports book, please stop. Invest in a fixed payout platform like PrizePicks, like Underdog, like Boom Fantasy, like Jock Market, where you can actually get away with positively correlating your slips. And guys, again, just to go over this one last time, it's going to be Justin Fields over 194.5 pass yards, Darnell Mooney over 26.5 receiving yards, Joshua Dobbs over 231.5 passing yards. We got Brandon Powell over 22.5 receiving yards, Trenton Gill under 4 punts, and Ryan Wright under 3.5 punts. This slip came directly off the correlation tool here at DGF. If you guys are going to be tailing the slip, please go ahead, hit that like button. Also, if this is your first time stumbling upon the channel, welcome. Go ahead, smash that subscribe button, and make sure you turn on that notification bell so whenever we do go live or post content, you get notified first. But guys, that's going to do it for today's video. Hopefully we can go 6 for 6. But hey, if we go 5 for 6, we'll take that return. And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Let's cash.